Ah, summer. One of my favorite times of the year, as it is one of the few times I am not actively freezing to death. A time for fun activities such as going to the beach, eating ice cream, sending fireworks into cars, or just sitting at the harbor and watching the ships go by. Which is apparently something that trains also enjoy doing. Arthur, a relatively forgotten character in the Thomas TV show. He showed up to the island in Season 7 with a spotless record, lost that almost immediately, gained a special interest for the fishing village, got a job to carry stuff to and from the fishing village, made some small appearances afterwards, and then slipped into obscurity when the show went full CGI. Just like any other character in this franchise, he was made into merchandise, because it doesn't matter how forgotten you are, you will be used for profit by our corporate overlords. Yay! The wooden version of Arthur looks lame. I'm just not a fan of the shade of maroon, the lack of other colors, just ew. The take-along release is a 50-pound take, and I can guarantee you that if you size it up to human scale and attach a gun turret on it, it could solo any army in the world. Mark my words. Then there's the motorized version, and oh baby, this looks gorgeous! It's perfectly proportioned, has an excellent face, has a white running board even outside of Japan, which is a rarity. It's great. Simply put, it's great. I have quite a history with this item, spanning back to my formative years as a disgusting gremlin. So let's go through that history, because my god, it is strange. Trackmaster Arthur is, for me, one of those things where you don't remember where or how you got it. It just sort of appeared in your house one day and you just accepted it. My earliest memory with Trackmaster Arthur is losing it. Or more accurately, learning I lost it. You see, one time when I was at my cousin's house, he told me I left it there the last time I was over and he handed it back to me. Even as a kid, Arthur was a character I often forgot about. Poor bastard. I brought him back home and for a while, he was one of the few Trackmaster engines I had in my collection. I did use him heavily when it came to something I like to call Shake Bridge. It was basically a piece of long windy track I built going from the table to the couch supported by pillows. The main goal was seeing if my trains would survive the crossing and not plummet to their death. I distinctly remember testing out the bridge with Arthur while one of my brothers was fighting with my parents over something, and I asked if he wanted to try out my sick bridge in hopes of making him feel better. I really don't know. Arthur did make it over the first time, so I figured it would be the same for my brother. It was not. Arthur fell off. That did not make my brother feel better. Eventually, Arthur would disappear one day, and it would take until 2016 for me to find him again, though not in the way I expected. So basically what happened is that I was looking through the basement for, hold on, let me check my notes. It's blank. Looking through everything, I discovered a tin that looked like a trash can, and in that tin were several Thomas toys from days long gone, where I discovered Arthur's bottom half. The shell was nowhere to be found. That wasn't gonna stop me from using him though. Whipping out the Duplo blocks, I created a monstrosity. His name was Jackson. However, Jackson would not stay with us for long, as in less than a year he had disappeared along with Arthur's chassis. The bastard, he stole it! And I wouldn't think about the item for the next 6 years. This section was, shorter than I thought it would be. Now time to get into the stuff you probably already know. One cold day in February 2022, I was watching a Tug's Trains video on his Arthur model and I thought, hey, Arthur's Trackmaster model was low-key awesome. I haven't owned him in a while. So I went searching and yeah, not the best luck. eBay was out of the question as I didn't own a credit card, meaning I had to get my mom for these transactions, and she and I were unfamiliar with the website. I tried it once, it did not work out, and you know the phrase, if at first you don't succeed, never try again. That basically left me with one option, make a custom. Not because it is easy, but because it is overcomplicated and hard. Some card, scissors, and a blister thumb later, I had a base created from an old Trackmaster 2 Thomas shell. And slapping on some cheap watercolors, it was done. I then decided to make a video about my custom, cause why not, it might be fun. Filmed it, put it together, uploaded it, and damn. The motivation for creating content within me was rejuvenated. I then decided to do a remake of Something Fishy, my favorite Season 7 episode. Then I did another remake, and a couple of others building up to a remake of The Percy Saves the Day DVD. Along with that, I did some other things, and well, you know what happened. You guys really seem to have liked this guy and all its weirdness, and I'm very much thankful you do, because he's also something that, well, a bit rough around the edges, I've fallen in love with as well. Not in that way. Get your mind out of the gutter. I may not have gotten that awesome Trackmaster model, but realistically, why would I? I mean, it's not like I'd ever use that. Okay, hear me out. Right, so As it's been over 2 years since I first released that video, a fair bit has changed in that time. If you've seen the Bill and Ben custom video, you would know I added a couple of things to him, namely his cylinders and his front small wheel. I was planning on painting the sides yellow, however I never got around to it, and they would eventually snap off because I used Elmer's glue to attach them and I never bothered to fix it, because I thought they looked like shit. Some time passed and that watercolor began to chip off, so I decided to renovate the model. I removed his decals, got rid of the paint, and repainted him using red acrylic. I also replaced his card running board with a Lego piece cut in half and glued on each side, which was painful. All his old decals were then reapplied, with some mild leakage from the red paint, and the job was generally done. Around that time, Christmas was coming up, and I had to come up with a wish list. I decided to look up Trackmaster Arthur again for my own curiosity, and there he was, on Totally Thomastown for around $18. I bit the bullet and got him for Christmas alongside Sonic Unleashed, the classic pairing. Yeah, I know I posted about this on my community tab and included him in a video. It's not exactly a secret I own this now, but still pretty cool, okay? He's every bit as beautiful as I remembered. His red is rich, the splash of white does so much, and his proportions, again, that does call into question, what happens to him now? The old custom is honestly a staple of this channel, and it would feel wrong to dismantle it after everything it's been through. Plus, he's an established character in the series, and I want to do something with him in the finale because, you know, he started the whole thing. So even if I wanted to break him up, I can't. Count your days, you lucky bastard. I'm joking, I love him. Despite Arthur being a relatively ordinary character in the show and merch, the history I have with this one item and how it's impacted me is pretty neat. This and the character itself kind of embodies what I loved about the Ghislaine era he came from. Nothing crazy, but pretty solid and oozing charm. The custom ain't perfect, but he and you the viewer have helped this channel get to where it is today. So, thank you for that. This is Liam Keenan, and that's about it.